this character is worthy of it. So that's why I invested some time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dig into this character. I'm going to make it happen, right? I'm going to get into all the little ins and outs of like where this character came from, like how this character gets down, why this character, like all the meaning and stuff to this character. Later on, I'm going to tell you guys, I got something later on as well. So I'm going to get this one in today, and then I'm going to get another Myth Lab in later on. I'm going to talk about Valerian Steel. So I got two good bangers coming up for you guys right now. We're going to talk about who this character is, and then later we're going to talk about Valerian Steel. I'll probably break these up. I'd like it to be one long ass stream, right? Like one really long ass stream, like really is what banks it. It's what the algorithm really likes. So let's really see if I can put that together. Stream, I'm kind of dug in, man. Banks it. It's what the algorithm right. Really I'm absolutely dug in on it. I'm absolutely dug in like an Alabama tick, right? Hello, Elsa. Like, so I'm absolutely dug in to delivering a good one right now. Let me see if I can't make sure that my let's make sure YouTube's going for it. If I got a live here, let's see. Yeah, you're telling me it's live. Let's see, all right. You don't want to go there, but all right, you're telling me it's live, but you don't want to go there. I don't understand that part. Okay, let's see. I think you got me there now. Okay. All right. I just kind of had to make sure everything was cool, man. I just like to make sure I get that touch in there, right? So I'm gonna get into dissecting who the Sentry is on a next level. Like I'm gonna go next level on Sentry. So if you're interested in this character, I got everything for you here, right? From creation all the way through to like how it fits in with mythology, which is mainly what I'll be talking about like most of the time, right? Is mythology, right? So how does he get it? So this is a character, like we look at Sentry and you're just like, yeah, this is Marvel's version of Superman. And in a lot of ways it is. Like Superman is the most like, you know, ripped off character of all time. There's a billion different Superman derivatives out there. But fortunately for us, each one of them has like some little ripple or reveals something that either, you know, one says something about Superman or says something about like the writers or the comic book guys who are coming up with this, right? So we're gonna dig pretty deeply into it. Give me one sec, guys. Well, I know I keep jumping in and out, but I gotta get myself absolutely ready. Is that Peter? Peter? That was me yelling a joke at my wife that she didn't get, by the way. Wasted material, by the way. But anyway, okay, so I'm back and we're going to get deep into who the Sentry is, right? Because there's been countless iterations of Superman, right? Some of them are good, some of them are just whatever. But this is an iteration of Superman that I'm not completely sold on myself. But you see him, the highly recognizable like golden costume, the flowing blonde hair, the limitless power. He's a shining symbol of hope. And all that is a trap, right? All that is nothing like what he actually is going to be when we get down to it, right? Because the Sentry isn't really a story about power. It's about what happens when humans gain more power than they can safely contain. Like, that's what he is. Like, he's proof that there is a limit, or there should be a limit for us. And this is what makes him, like, a really fascinating character. Because this guy, like, while you look, like, it says a lot that you look like this absolute like, oh yeah, it's the hero, but on the inside, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Like absolutely. So that part of the story, that's not by accident. Like this is revealing like some strengths and some real significant weaknesses all wrapped into one character, right? And a lot of it, let's be honest, he's not responsible for it. There's a part of this character that's kind of a good guy. Like it's very, very complex. So, but before I get into like breaking this guy out, before we start trying to figure out what his powers are, let's get inside and understand who Killer the Dog was, man, right? Like, I'm going to give you that. In fact, I'm going to get a little more of this coffee, and I'm going to give you exactly that right now, right? Creation matters. Like, when these people come about actually matters, right? Oh, man, it's perfect temperature coffee right there, man. I'm telling you guys. My coffee needs are very simple, like really sweet and hot. Or cool. Like, there's a perfect temperature. I'm like steaming hot. Like, let's not go crazy. Perfect temperature coffee does it for me, right? So this character, the Sentry, was created by writer Paul Jenkins and artist Jay Lee and debuted in 2000 as part of the... What in the hell is going on here, man? Like... It's weird. Like, our trash day was yesterday and, like, someone's picking up trash right now. I don't know. I'm a part of sanitation in my house. So this guy was developed in 2000 as part of Marvel Knights. So this character is kind of a different kind of character. He's kind of a unique character from Marvel. He's presented as this like forgotten hero who supposedly existed since early. Like they try to kind of give him a history, but it wasn't really there. He debuted, right? But then they try to like kind of back write his story in like he was an older character. So they were building in a mystery about him. He's a new character, like we knew it. He felt new. He smelt new. He had a new car on him, man. Like that's the whole thing. You know, like when you see a pack of dogs, you bring a new dog around, they all get around the new dog and they start sniffing his butt. That's what we all did with Sentry. Not me personally, but about a lot of you guys. They circled around him because this is something different. He is different. So when we talk about him, there isn't a great here. So I mean, he's 26 years old now, but relative to Spider-Man, to the X-Men, Captain America, this is a new Jack, right? This is all newbie, man. This is new stuff, right? So this is where we come in, right? He comes in as kind of two personalities is the way I see him. Like his core, who's Robert Reynolds. He's this middle-aged, he's kind of confused guy, he's struggling. He slowly realizes that, oh, I used to be the greatest hero on earth, right? But nobody remembers it. Nobody has any remembrance. Not the Avengers, not the Fantastic Four, not Spider-Man, nobody. He's the only one who's like, yeah, I used to run all this. I used to take care of business around here. I was the main hero around here. Like, that's what he says. This is what, they kind of did with him. Like, this is kind of what they threw at this guy here. So it's a lot of nutty buddy in here, man. Like, this is a heavy mixed nuts kind of bag of stuff we're dealing with this guy, right? So Rob Reynolds, he was like, not really born a superhero. It's a different kind of story, right? This guy, like, this is a true story, okay, right? This is a guy who himself, like the flawed version of him, the raw before superheroes version of him, was a struggling man who was dealing with like addiction and self-destructive behavior. This is the backstory on Sentry, okay? While searching for drugs, he broke into a laboratory connected to Project Sentry. Inside, he discovered an experimental serum. Now, you gotta be, fuck, like, how much drugs do you do where you just see an experimental drug and you take it? I'm not joking with you guys. Like, everybody in here, we can have an honest moment, right? My uncle was a heavy drug addict. He passed very recently, and it hurt me. I love my uncle a lot, but he was, like, heavy in the drugs, man. He spent, like, the last, like, I don't know, 30 years of his life, it seemed like to me, like, on this, like, kind of drug bender. All right, so it's very tragic, right? I don't make light of drugs in any way, okay? Not in any way do I make this statement, but Jesus freaking Christ, like, how drugged out you have to be to see something you don't even know what it is and you drink it. Like, that's not even drug addict behavior, man. Like, that's not drug addict behavior, man. I'm putting my foot down on bad writing. Drug addicts just don't see anything and just drink it, right? Like, you're looking for whatever you do. I'm chasing my particular high, but in this case, he sees an experimental drug and he's like, yeah, all right, I'm getting messed up off of something, right? And essentially, he's just like, yeah, I'm taking this to the head, and proceeds to take it to the head, right? Catastrophically, right? Catastrophically, or brilliantly, right? So this is a serum that gave him, again, they're always trying to make a super soldier serum. So this is essentially what it is, right? So he gets this serum that has the power of 1,000,000 exploding stars, which is an insane number, right? We can't even handle one star, right? Exploding suns, right? But you're putting like 1,000,000,000. Was it a 1,000,000 exploding suns, or what his power levels are? A drug addict, right? Like these comic book scientists, man. You guys really are comic book scientists, man. Comic book scientists are the only fuckers who will have this kind of serum just laying around. It's just laying around. This wasn't like a high level crime, okay? This wasn't like, an event. This was a drug addict just wandered in there, a crackhead just wandered in there and found your priceless research. I'm assuming it's priceless super soldier research that you don't want just getting out, right? This is what happened. I don't know what lab this is. They don't say it, right? They don't name the lab, but I certainly hope they're out of business already. I hope they're not like harassing the public right now. Because he walks in off the street, off the rip, off the newbie, right? And now I got a super formula, and I expressly get, right, the power of 1,000,000 suns exploding. That's what I get, right? No, I didn't have to do anything to get it. There wasn't even security. I didn't have to enter a PIN code, right? Like none of that stuff. And I just got it, and I see it, and because I'm a drug addict, I'm taking it to the head, right? That's a lot of logic going on there, right? I know this is comic book, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, come on, let's stick with it a little bit. So anyway, after accidentally, crackheadedly wandering into some laboratory with like, you guys didn't even have a security guard? You guys didn't even have a low-paid security guard just to be like, we need you to move away from here, sir. You guys didn't even have that, and apparently they didn't. Now he gets superpowers, and now you're one of the greatest powerful beings that Marvel's ever created. All that, and you were high, and all you want to do is get, as far as you know, you're still just high. As far as he knows, he's probably just high, and he's got superpowers. Because it would make sense to me. Like, if I did something like, oh, man, it was the best, man. I was flying around. I had superpowers, and I was fighting against. That's why he didn't care about anything, right? Because to him, you're probably still high. That was all you were trying to do. All you knew is you were probably, like, going through withdrawals, and you drank this, and all of a sudden, you're feeling better. You're like, man, this is the best high of my entire life. And I'm sure it is. Like, you're manifesting a reality. And now, like, you're all these things. So you remember all these things that you said that you were, even though this wasn't you, right? And so this is kind of what drives the entire character, right? So this is like a big moment behind this character. And yeah, it does manifest as him being kind of nutty. Like, I'm not going to lie about that part. We see a lot of, like, absolutely, like, kooky behavior. It's kind of scary. That's the thing. He is scary that he has this kind of power. He absolutely is. And this is what we get, right? So he's the golden guy. He's deliberately that, man. He's deliberately that, right? He's deliberately, like, the visual language. The golden hair, the radiant light, sun imagery. None of this stuff is by acting. He's perfect physique. Like, he's all that. He's hope, salvation. This dude is not set up just to be a hero. Like, you're not just to be a hero. You're a defining mark. You are a guardian. This is what stands between humanity and utter chaos. Like, the most powerful being. Like, that's who we got in our back, man. That's who's holding our back line, right? So nothing's going to get to us. We live in a dangerous world. Freaking aliens and Kree all over the place, right? They're infiltrating. We have somebody that can say, get up out of here, right? Get up out of here. So this is why, like, his representation is solar deity. He's solar champion, right? Like, we get that, right? We get that solar champion, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. So he is the shining protector that we find in mythology. And, I always go back to mythology on this channel, and I will go back on this. So all the imagery that we get, like, who do you see when you're like, oh yeah, if I'm thinking about the sun gods, these are all the best dudes out there. Ra, Apollo, Mithras, like, Hercules kind of falls in that, like Zeus, like, all these guys are the solar gods, and they're always the most powerful ones, right? They're the ones who represent to the highest levels, the solar gods. So this is what we get when we look at this character. He isn't just savior, right? He's like a whole, like, mythical representation right in our face. He's divine, right? And this is what Marvel wanted to come out with. Like, they want, like, everybody's always trying to grab some of that Superman shine. Like, we get it, man. Like, everybody's trying to get their Superman. Like, that character's so freaking successful that everybody's like, yeah, but what about if he had a flaw? Like, that's the angle. And in this case, it's what if this, like, he's mentally, like, there's something going on. Like, not everything's fire in the noodle game right here, right? Like, that's the part. So with him, there literally is something darker. That darker part that we worry about, it is here. It manifests here. It's something that's waiting. It's something that's called out, man. It's there, right there. It's tangible thing. It's the void, right? It's the void. And the void, and I'm gonna have to talk about the void. I dedicated a whole upcoming section to talk about the void today. So, right. So if you want to get up on the void, we can talk about a little bit of the mythology that goes behind that shit too, because it's got a lot to that too, right? So we want to talk about the void, hang on and we'll get to that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what his actual, like, powers are, right? Because it's nutty, right? It is nutty, man. Like, there's a lot of nutty stuff, and his power level is absolutely freaking insane, right? When we really get down to it, he's absolutely insane power, right? So let's get into it, okay? Right? Why can't I? Come on. But you don't want to, I didn't do a whole slideshow. What's going on here? Huh. Okay, why don't you give me my next slide? Okay, so my slideshow. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm sorry about that. I'm over here like yelling at it, and it's doing the right thing, and I'm not. Okay, so let's talk about his powers, because his power set, man, it's gonna challenge anybody. He's made to be a Superman style character. That's what he's made to be. Like, every part of him. They didn't just make him look this way. Like, visually, obviously, he's blonde hair. Superman's dark hair, but you know what they're trying to do here, right? We get that. Like, another homage to Superman. So he gets everything that Superman has, right? Like, he's got, like, super strength. He's incredibly strong. He's Superman at least strong, right? He's in that range. So he's that strong. This dude, like, he flies. He shoots energy beams, right? He's got invulnerability. He's deep, man. Like, he's deep. Like, dude is 100% like, what does Superman do? Okay, this is what this guy does, right? And they do a pretty good job. In fact, matter of factly, right? He actually has some stuff out there that I think Superman don't even want no parts of. Like, this is where he's different. Like, you know what? I was gonna kind of speed run through this, right? I really kind of was, but it's not worth it, man. We can't really speed run through what his actual, like, abilities are, because it's pretty profound. And it's not just Superman. Like, he's something, like, way different. And he really doesn't have, like, a clear ceiling. Like, this is kind of where they made this guy. They're very, very smart. They really got down, man. In some ways, they kind of got down. Because it's, he's never going to blow up. Like, Superman isn't just his powers anymore. Right? This is why, like, Superman, I don't even like Superman. And he's still the most popular comic book character of all time. I mean, this guy's been around since 1939. Nobody's gonna beat Superman ever, right? Like, just realistically, they're never gonna beat him, right? And he's more than just his powers at this point. His powers are fantastical, right? And they change his powers when they need to, right? To keep him competitive, give him that edge. But, so this is kind of where they're coming at him. This guy has all Superman's powers, impossible to hurt him, but he's really, really deep. He's strong enough that he has fought all the big bangers, man. Like, any of the Marvel big bangers, he's taken on that fight, man. He's done pretty well. He hasn't ducked anybody. He hasn't done that, man. He's come with the strength. He's come with it, man. You can see on this beautiful infographic chart that I put together just for you guys, because, like, man, the love is real. Because the love is real. Like, you guys realize that the love is real, right? That I put all this together for you guys so I can explain to you why this guy fights against the Hulk. Terrax, Ares, he's fought various cosmic level beings. So he's a cosmic level threat himself. One of his early battles was World War Hulk, man, where him and Hulk, like, man, they get down, man. Like, he's matching the Hulk, and this is World War Hulk, which is a different Hulk. There's been a lot of iterations of the Hulk, and now I just realized I really need to sit down and go through all the various iterations of the Hulk, because they get pretty interesting as well, because the Hulk gets into a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother topic. We'll get to that in time, right? Like, wait, Hulk. So, this guy is battle tested, and I mean battle tested. If you're going up against World War Hulk, World Breaker Hulk, like, yeah, you're pretty savage with that, right? And that's a wow, man. Like it's thundering here. Like it's crazy in the south. We have different kind of storms out here now. I'm a Cali guy, but I'm living out here now. Like, man, these storms every day. It's like a storm every day. I'm not joking. It's a storm every single freaking day out here, right? Okay, but anyway, we're gonna get through it. I'm still gonna get this myth lab done because this is important stuff we're doing, man. We're talking about comic books here, right? This is important storytelling elements here. So as a straight up like his physical prowess stuff, yeah, he bangs, man. Like he can go with anybody, man. He can go with everybody. His durability, yeah, he's about that, man. He's about that life. He's not worried about it. You're not. I can go blow for blow with any of you guys, right? Then his cat flies, right? So he flies, like a lot of other beings, right? But he's more like unrestricted, light, solar power flight. Like he's Superman with more details. They get into the details. This is an atmospheric flight. He travels across continents in outer space between planets at speeds that are approaching or exceeding light speed. Depending on who's writing it down, that's what he's doing. This guy's operating literally at light speed per whichever writer. So they have that in his range. So flight, like this is very symbolic. Like flight itself, in mythology, right? In mythology, flight represents transcendence, right? You're above, right? I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up, right? That's what flight symbolizes. So he gets flight at this extreme level. And it's really tied more into the solar aspect. They really write the solar aspect of him extremely, extremely tight. And I think Kal-El, like, they don't push his aspect. He's a solar deity. Like, that's what he is, right? So we get that, right? He's rising above mankind. You can see him. Nothing can stop me, right? I'm rising up, right? Started from the bottom, now we here. So he doesn't just move through the air. Like he changes the actual rules of physics. Like so he's even flying in a way that's different than everyone else, right? So so his invulnerability, like his toughness, man, like can you take it in this, right? The durability, like yeah, he's on par, man. This guy's an A+. Like, he's top tier 100% of the time. Like, he can take damage that would almost always instantly kill, like, almost any other level here. Like, any level, even slightly below this guy is like, you're dead, right? He can endure nuclear scale attacks, cosmic energy blasts, planetary level impacts, right? Encounters with reality-altering entities. So he can kind of do everything. Like, think about all that stuff. Nuclear scale attacks, okay. But cosmic blast, once you're taking cosmic blast and brushing it off, planetary level impacts, right? This is as big as it gets, right? And he's dealing with alter reality entities as well. And that we'll get to that part about him, okay? Because that's different, right? And then he's got his whole healing factor. And then after all that, just in case you need it, if you hit him with something that's even greater than a planetary level impact, he's going to heal from it. Because that's who he is, right? So there's a lot into his powers. Even if severely damaged, he can regenerate. He can possibly generate from almost nothing. He cannot be permanently destroyed. So he's kind of the character that he would refuse to be dead. That's how bad this dude is. Like, this is next life. He's going to come back. He's on a whole nother level. Man, it makes me think like Doomsday or something like that, man, right? Like, kind of scary. Because he's gonna come back. And then this is where we really want to get into, like, this is kind of what gets him into powerhouse level. Like, on top of being a powerhouse, among powerhouses, he's a powerhouse, right? Because he has energy projection. He has energy projection as beams, as bursts, as explosion, and as protective fields. So these are devastating. Like, his energy glows, like it's all solar based. So he can be shown as a unique cosmic force able to generate energy, or he can draw off of like the solar energy that's around him. So he's both a living weapon and a living power source. So his energy manipulation it's on a whole nother level. He's on a whole nother level from like anybody who's got, so he's got the strength and the durability, and they add the healing factor, and you can go ahead and have and have beams, right? Not just eye beams. And I'm not making direct shots at anybody. I'm just saying these aren't simply I got eye beams, right? This is a whole nother level of like what he's getting down with. So this is kind of where Sentry really gets to be like extra level on his power. Like right off the bat, that's where I start to kind of get a lot of separation from him, even from like Kal-El where he's sourced from, right? Like obviously. And I really like this, yeah, this power element, man. This is really it right here. And that's not it, man. That's not it. Like all that, and that's not it, man. He's not even done getting powers yet, man. He's not even done getting powers yet, right? Because you also give this character molecular and matter manipulation. This is where it starts to get like way out there, man. Matter manipulation, right? He can manipulate matter. He can reshape objects, right? He can repair and reconstruct. He can all kind of physical damage. He can rebuild matter, right? I mean, he's operating. He's not even operating like a cosmic level superhero, man. This is like a reality engineer. He's really able to restructure reality just like that. That's how powerful he is. So in that case, he starts to be less like Superman and more like, I don't know, the Beyonder or someone like that, right? It's definitely a different level of power. Just in that, like, it's a different level of power. That unto itself is enough. You'd be at the same power category, even if you just had the matter and all that, manipulation. So that's where he is. And then it gets like all this stuff. They've never really talked about it, but there is supposedly a reality warping component to his powers, right? They never put the limits on it. They haven't really defined it yet. So how they'll manifest it, I don't know, but I know that it exists. And I don't know if it's necessarily like he can rewrite reality. And man, that was hard. Rewrite reality. It doesn't matter, okay? You guys get what I'm saying. In the same way that the Scarlet Witch could do it, but man, does he need to? It's not with magic. It's just, I guess, him controlling matter and energy on, 2 levels. So that's the thing. Like the thing about it is that there's very little stuff that he can do. Like this character was literally built with everything. Like, let's take Superman, and then everything that Superman can't do, let's add it onto this guy. Let's make it just ridiculous, right? So if someone says, "Oh man, he can't be Superman," and like, well, yeah, he can, right? They would engineer that argument, even though like his limitations are that he doesn't understand himself. Like he really doesn't understand his powers himself. That's what kind of limits him. Robert is the part that limits him. That's the only real limit that he has is himself, right? It's kind of crazy. And what they say is that he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. That's a lot. That's an insane description. That you have the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Like, this is getting to like mythology, like it's symbolism just to be able to say that, right? That he's supposed to feel like an apocalypse coming. That's who he is. He's like the most powerful forces that a human being can imagine. They didn't give him the power of 1 star. They gave him the power of millions of stars. Like, we know that 1 star would be insane, right? They gave you 1,000,000 stars. That even makes sense, right? What kind of math and numbers are you dealing with? How did you do that? I want to know how you guys... I want to know how this so-called experiment actually went down, right? We're not just going to chalk this up to just comic book geniuses, right? How did you guys come up with this where you gave him the power of 1,000,000 stars? And how do we know that you did? How do we know it's not like 400,000? I mean, does this even make sense? But whatever, they transform him into like this real living God. Like, he's a living God on a whole lot of levels. Like, that's the real power from him. It's all that stuff. It's his ability to be limitless. Like, the real power is his limitless. He doesn't have any weaknesses. They didn't write any weaknesses in this guy's other than the fact that you're kind of crazy, right? And so that's so they take away any limitations. Most heroes have boundaries. He doesn't. He doesn't have any weaknesses. He doesn't have a kryptonite. He doesn't have anything like that. The Hulk can be outsmarted. He's smarter than you too. He processes information. He's everything more than everybody else. He's better than everybody. This is where he's godlike, but he has no clearly defined limits, like at all. Like they write him as if he can do everything, and literally, that's how we should take this guy's profile. If this is literally a character who does everything. But you're crazy. Like, at the end of the day, he's got some stuff inside of him that is mad problematic, right? All right. And it's the shadow self. He calls it the void, right? It's a void inside of him. It's a living force of destruction that is directly connected to his power set. It's a big actual part of what he is. It is both him and the monster is part of him. That's 100% what it is on this Get Down, right? He is 100% that. It is him and it is his monster side all wrapped into one, right? And what does that mean? Well, first of all, it's really dangerous for us. This is unbalanced power at a cosmic level. This is created unbalanced power. The Void itself is not simply a villain. The Void is Robert, and Robert is the Void. Okay, that's the whole thing. It sounds crazy, and it is, because he is. That's an important part of what the Shade is, right? Like, the Void itself, it's some deep mythology, man. If you really, really think about it, it kind of taps into a couple of different mythologies about what we say are our true enemies, right? And this is important. It's important to know that he's the Void is him, the Void is him, and him's the Void, right? Most heroes fight external enemies, right? That's the whole thing. Most heroes are going to fight external enemies. Not this guy. Your biggest enemy is an internal enemy. It's that Void. It's that part of him that wants to embrace it. Like, it's death. It's it's chaos. It's fear. Obviously, we can get all that stuff. So he has to actively be like, yeah, I'm going to fight up against this stuff right here, right? That's what he actively does, right? So on the surface, the Void appears to be immensely powerful, dark energy. It's a being of destruction, like that. This is what it is, a living nightmare, okay? It's a force capable of devastating entire cities and challenging some of the most powerful heroes in Marvel. Wherever the Void manifests, that follows, okay? Fear follows. Reality itself begins to unravel. The Void appears as a massive fog-like figure with tendrils of darkness stretching out into the sky. That's what the Void is, right? It is 100% terrifying. It looks like, it feels like villainy, right? It feels like villainy, but it's so much deeper than actual just villainy, right? It actually is so much deeper than villainy. It's something else, man. It's like the manifestation, like psychological manifestation of all these negative emotions that you probably pick up for very, very good reasons, or really Robert picked them up, right? So there's plague, there's eclipse, there's all this darkness, and then the truth is that the Void is completely directed at Robert's power. He has all this power because he represents infinite potential, hope, and his heroic, transcendence. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to transcend into being this ultimate superhero. The Void represents all the cost of that, right? It's a heavy toll. It's a cost for all that. He was created by the same power. And so it's like he's almost like the cosmos demanding correction, demanding balance. You have a debt that which you owe. I expect to be compensated for that debt, right? Like that's what this dark side actually means. Which is it's a great representation. It's a really, really good look at like the power, the power dynamics and the struggles that a character would go through, right? Because there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that. I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper in this one in a sec. Because on the surface, the Void the Void doesn't come off as deeply as what it is. Like there's some psychological interpretations of this, like it's a manifestation of the shadow self, right? This is Carl Jung's work. The shadow self, it represents repressed fears, anger, jealousy, shame. violence, of course, destructive impulses, the parts of us that we don't typically want to give light to. That part who's like, yeah, I'll stab you, right? We all have that part, right? The I'll stab you part, right? And that's essentially like how they manifest, how he actually deals with. The problem is that Robert's shadow isn't normal. Like, we all have that shadow, but his shadow now has the power of a god. That's where it gets different. Like, the more he suppresses his fears, the stronger the void gets. So he's building this undefeatable machine. When he suppresses anger, the void's like, oh yeah, I'm getting stronger. So it's a fine line because he's making this creature more and more powerful all the time. When he confuses to confront darkness, the stronger darkness becomes. When you refuse to look at the psychological differences, the suggestions that, you know, are kind of common, it's always going to be an issue. So this is who he is. This is an enemy of untreated trauma, right? That's what the void is. It's all the bad stuff. So he gets to be this unique kind of creature where he's a hero and the ultimate monster all in one. Most heroes are either like hero or villain or good or bad or anti-hero. He's all that stuff and worse. This character literally steps completely outside of that entire framework, right? Of being like just strictly that savior. He steps completely out of it, and we get something new in terms of a character. Like, not because he's bad, like they work it, or he seems more like a sympathetic character, but why? I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at. So this is like him being able to express both halves. Like, obviously, you know, he's the power, he's all the strength, but then he also struggles with like basic, like some real strong weakness. Like, his greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. He embodies that. So he's really a torn up character in a lot of ways, being the hero and also being the monster, like in the same bag. And then you're super powerful and you're powerful and you're nutty. Like, I'm tired of them giving powers to people that ain't all there, man. Like I want, like, look, mental health is real, but living is real too, man. And superpowers seem to be real too. So like, this is, well, I mean, again, like you were cracking. You just went in, you just wandered in there and took a hit of something and walked out with cosmic powers. Who wouldn't do that? Who wouldn't just hang out near the labs who don't lock their doors and just try to pick up something and drink it real quick? I would do that. I think a lot of people would do that. A lot of people would hang out in labs and drink whatever they got there and say, what are you guys experimenting on? Yeah, let me take a hit of that. And just be like, whatever, and see what happens. Maybe I get powers, maybe I don't. But I think we would definitely circle for that one, right? So I'm going to dip for a second, right, guys? I'm going to get a quick break in, and I'm just going to run a clip for you guys just to keep the channel live. But let me pick something out here. I'm just going to get like a 10 so I can come back and I'm going to complete the mythological part of it. I'm going to leave you guys with, let's see, is this one good? Yeah, okay. I'm going to drop this one for you guys here. All right, so obviously, she can emit blinding blast. She can create energy, glowing energy bursts. She can surround herself with absolute radiance, right? That's how she is. Visually, she resembles a classic light-powered hero. That's why you look at her and you see her like that, right? So I'm going to make some comparisons to some other characters like Dazzler, Dr. Light, if you remember that character. Photon kind of fits in this, and it's like Captain Marvel, depending on which iteration of Captain Marvel, right, you get after, right? You could see that manifestation in Captain Marvel. Let me get here. I want to be able to watch my video too. Come on, get off of there. Okay, so I just want to be in the chat on YouTube as well. I can't monitor all my chats, but I'm going to be in the YouTube chat, and I'm monitoring TikTok. So if you're in any one of those, man, you'll be able to holler at me, and I can respond to you guys, and I will. Okay, so we see some comparison type of characters, right, that we get with when you look at Starlight. So not completely unique in that, but I think she's a little bit more deceptive in what she's doing. Like I want to really look at her, like something starts happening, and then electricity starts disappearing, right? Like that's what you notice with her. Like lights start to flicker, like electronics start to fail around her. Who gave me some love there? Appreciate it, right? Most definitely. Most definitely, Pigeon Agent. Thank you so much. 1440, right? So we see that she is draining power sources. She's draining stuff around her literally, right? So this suggests that this is like the light itself may be a byproduct of this energy manipulation power. That's kind of what I'm feeling when I look at her power and I judge what I see on the screen with her, right? So this is and like I love light power characters, right? I'm gonna get into some deep ones, man. If you're into the mythology behind it, like yeah, I think there's a lot to go on here. So this is one of the more consistent elements of Starlight's ability is her relationship with electricity. And we don't talk about it like she's Starlight, she ain't Star Electricity, but I think the real star here is electricity. I think electricity is why you're able to do what you can do right now, right? Like that's the realness with Starlight. Like it's your light ability that's carrying you here. It's not, the light is a product of the electricity power. So she can get power from light fixtures, energy grids. Like energy grids right off the bat, when I hear energy grids, batteries, right? Electronic devices, vehicle, like anything that's got juice in it, she can get power off of it, right? So she just run around able to suck in power. So that power doesn't simply vanish. It gets transformed in her body. So this is actually what's going on. Like she's absorbing power. And here's the thing, man, no cable, right? You know, this isn't even wireless where you put her on a wireless charger. She's literally pulling electricity out of like the environment around her. That ain't no joke, man. That ain't no joke. I don't know. Like I said, if you look at Black Lightning, and I should have put him in this comparison, man, I'll break out his powers probably separately than this, right? But that's essentially what he's doing. So whenever Black Lightning gets jacked up, he just like summons on that lightning power, right? And his stuff kind of manifests a lot like hers, right? Like the blinding light, like the blast force. So we'll get more into it. So that's what she's doing. She's sucking in this power and she's converting it within her own body. She's sucking in electricity and, she's transforming it into this usable light power that she uses like to do her hero stuff, to get it down, right? So that's her real ability. She's converting electricity into light. So once absorbed, this electrical energy becomes visible. Her body starts to glow, right? Her eyes brighten. Her hands emit intense radiation. And this is what everybody notices. That's not even like the cool mechanism that's going on. It's the power converting, like the absorbing electricity and converting into power. That's it, man. This is like a power plant. Like that's what she is, man. She's able to absorb that power and convert it, man. So that it in a lot of ways, it makes her pretty much limitless on power. As long as there's stuff going on, your cell phone, anything like that, she could draw. I'm sure she can draw power off of. Because you've been seeing, like without. Talk about all this stuff with him, all this stuff that he does, right? And the most important thing is understanding like this is insane power and this shadow self, but it comes from a mythological background. So I wanted to focus on where that actually comes from, right? Like you can kind of see like where he's compared to. Like these are the guys that are in his league, as we would say, right? Like this is where he's suited up on a cosmic level, right? So it's, you know, it's him. It's obviously Kal-El, like Superman, who's the enlightened version. Then there is Gladiator, who's one of my favorite characters, right? Gladiator's another guy in that lane. There's also Hyperion, another Marvel guy. So a couple of so you got 3 Marvel guys. Marvel really likes Superman here, right? Like clearly Marvel really enjoys Superman because they've come up with like some of the best versions of Superman. I guess DC's like, yeah, we got Superman. We don't need all these other crazy variants. But some of these variants get to be pretty good. Like I'm not gonna lie, like the variants are like, because I never liked Kal-El, I could never get into Superman. But I like a lot of the variants of Superman. I think they're kind of cool, right? Oh, I got a comment here. What's it say? What's going on here? Oh, no, it's not about mine. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay. But so my favorite out of here, like I said, so, you know, Hyperion, Dr. Manhattan, right? The Transcendent Blue. All these stuff are really, really prime. Like they're all very similar. Obviously, you know, Sentry is more the unstable sun. Superman being the enlightened sun, right? Gladiator being, he's a pure confidence thing. Hyperion is more like the pure alternative Superman. So they have all the same kind of strength, like super strength all across the board, right? Hope, you know, Superman is more like, you know, what are they really about? Because the powers are about the same, except for Dr. Manhattan. He goes into a hole. He's more energy manipulation, which Sentry does have. So that's something that is definitely for him. So he does that. So you can see like it's, you know, he's drawn up against a lot of like kind of classically known, like Sentry's known for his limitless power with no like known upper limit, right? But he has a void within, right? So that's a major issue. Superman obviously, you know, still battles with making sure he does things morally right, like that he's the good guy that he should be representing. He's getting tested in that way. Gladiator just really has to, you know, has this unwavering belief that he's always doing the right thing, that his leadership is always, you know, absolutely right. So that you know, moments of doubt for him get to be very problematic. Like it can freeze him up. Hyperion is more just like he's power and like the will to do what has to be done. That's what he comes from, right? He's more of a potential like authoritarian. Like he does believe in his own superiority, so he's kind of dangerous. Dr. Manhattan is omnipotent awareness, a control, right? Where you don't even care. Like you've transcended about it. He's basically said, he's like, I don't really care about you guys. I don't really care about Earth, right? I mean, so they've all, you know, given us different kind of things. Taking it all in stride, I'd still say overall, like, Gladiator is still my favorite, man. You just pop that collar up and you're my favorite guy. That's what it is. Pop the collar, rock the mohawk, and man, we can get about it, man. So that's my dude right there. That's the homie. I don't know if he beats any of them in a straight up fight. I think he's kind of, he might be the bottom of the barrel here, man. Like, actually, if you start talking about power here, right? He very well could be the bottom of the barrel here. And I would hate to think that, but I can't think of anyone, like, if you're saying he gets Superman, maybe. Like, I'd like to believe he can get Superman, but I don't think he's getting anyone else on this list. Like, maybe Hyperion, but that's it, man. Like, that, I mean, those are, and that's a leap on both those guys. Still my favorite though. Like he's still my favorite. So this is like the categories that, you know, essentially he's running in. Like this is kind of, you know, the characters. So Sentry, like we know Superman's been out since 1939. Let's see. I want to look at a couple here, right? I want to look at a couple of these guys here. When did Marvel develop the Gladiator character? Yeah, he came out in 1977. So So he has been around basically, like, I was born in 1972. So my entire comic book reading life, he's been around. He's literally intentionally the answer to Superman. He's like if Superman was part of a larger civilization, I mean, he would just serve in the Empire, right? That's essentially what he is, right? He's a very powerful soldier. So he's just been X-Men. Let me see if they show the original cover here. I'm gonna try to grab it if I can. It doesn't show it as the let me see. Yeah, it's been 107. Yeah, I can't get a shot of the cover of that one, but he definitely came out in 1977. This is another Chris Claremont, man. Chris Claremont is a dude that he created so many really good characters. I'll probably end up doing a breakout just talking about Chris Claremont and some of his work, but so this is a guy who runs the Shire. So he's huge in the Dark Phoenix story. He beats the stuffing out of Colossus, man. Like, this is a young Colossus, but Jesus Christ, man, I would have stopped fighting after this fight. Like, he beat your ass. And then, like, rescued you. Right? He beat your ass and, like, the building all fell on him, and he went and, like, got you out of the rubble and all that stuff. Just to be like, it ain't even no issues. But I remember him definitely facing the Fantastic Four. Like, he came down and, man, he like pulled the whole Baxter building up off the ground, man. Some powerful stuff. Hyperion's another guy. Like, when did Hyperion come out? When did Hyperion? Because I remember Hyperion being out. When did Marvel Comics develop and debut the character Hyperion? So Hyperion's been around since 1969. So this has been around. This is an Avengers character since 1969. Again, another Superman character, right? He was lined up, the original lineup, Hyperion, Nighthawk, right? Who's like a Batman character. Let me just pose her. There's Hyperion, Nighthawk, Dr. Spectrum, who's kind of like a Green Lantern, and the Wizard, right? Obviously, we know who they're targeting with the Wizard. So he was openly discussed that the Squadron Sinister was essentially Marvel having fun with they were the Sinister Squad. Oh, he was part of the Squadron Sinister, right? Yeah. So they were just kind of fucking with the Justice League. So yeah, his powers were super strength, flight, and vulnerability, enhanced senses, and of course atomic vision, which was their version of heat vision. So he's essentially like the early Superman stand-in, like, come get some. So unlike Superman, there have been multiple Hyperions across Marvel's universe. So yeah, he originally like Hyperion, the newest version of Hyperion debuted. I can't even talk. Debuted in 2001 in Exiles #1. So he's kind of been through it. Like, this character's been out there for a little bit. This character is very notable. And it's been a big character. Like, it's been a big character over a number of years. But clearly Marvel has taken several runs at Kal-El. Like, to various degrees. Like, I don't mind it. I think it's cool. Like I said, I like some of the Marvel derivative characters better than I even like Superman. To be perfectly honest, I'm not a big, huge Kal-El fan. Like, sometimes I think he's cool, but for the most part, it's square, man. I really like him, man. But I divest, right? Like, I divested of Superman, right? Okay, so last is, I think, for me, it's always, the most important part is, like, there's always a mythical connection for a lot of these characters, especially when you talk about, like, the solar deity, which what Sentry is. He's a manifestation of the solar deity and goes a little further into the energy, manipulating spectrum of solar worship. So, that's the part of him that I think is actually kind of opening up the mythology a little bit, right? In that regard, I think he opens up things. It's a lot easier to draw lines between him and Ra, who's the solar architect, right? Like Apollo and the divine illumination, Heru as a celestial champion, Lucifer as the light bringer, right? And the dying and rising solar hero, right? Every night you die, and sacrifice so that every day you can actually be reborn again. So this is who he is. Like, they all have their own inner kind of demons, but we see the path for this character. Like, the righteous path is really always that mythological pattern. That's what they want. And culturally, like, we see that connection, right? Being pure light, right? But when you go into the void, this was the underworld for Ra. Every night the underworld was where he had to make his battle, whereas with this character Sentry, he has to battle his internal nuttiness inside of his own void. So he has all that stuff. Anakin Walker had to fight against his Darth Vader. Dr. Jekyll fights against Mr. Hyde, like the Bruce Banner and the Hulk. So we see that all the time. And his other, we look at him and clearly they're trying to make you the Apollo, this divine energy, that clear-headedness, that, I don't necessarily know that you really got that going there, but that's essentially what it gives. So these are kind of the mythological connections related to that, to this kind of overall like power set. So he kind of gets into ancient storytelling. He's not a monster. He's like, he's kind of this hidden self. His battle isn't necessarily against evil. It's against his own like internal darkness. So there's a lot that goes on there. Everyone has shadows. Everyone has fear. So I think that makes it, really relatable when it's like, sometimes your fears and stuff come out in like these really dark ways. So we're, all of us are kind of capable. So he has that stuff in him, but now he has like infinite power. So it creates a lot. Like, it's a lot that you're putting on this character, because you're basically saying, let's put this on Superman and let's see what actually happens out of it. So this is what, Sentry is out. He was in Thunderbolts was the movie I was thinking about. Yeah, Thunderbolts, which I watched, which, man, it was all right. There's a few good scenes. I may even go back and peep a couple scenes out of it while I'm chilling later on today. So, but I wanted to get through this, and I'll chop this up and have this uploaded for you. I'm going to run a clip for you guys now and take another quick break, and then we'll get into some more Would You Let Them in Your House. Let me set you guys up with a nice clip. We're going to run this for, I don't know, we'll run back to the, let's see. I'm going to run the clip about magic, and then I'll come back and we'll continue on our path of Would You Let Them in the House? How do we speak about, envision, and manipulate magic? And it's different depending on obviously which world you're in and which world is your influence. Now, immediately right off the bat, right, I'm taking a big chunk here by saying these are the 4 models of fantasy magic, right? Like, we already know that there's a whole bunch of Harry Potter fans that will immediately jump on my neck over this, right? But you know what? We don't care. We don't care. It's not a disrespect to you. We just don't care. And it's not even that we don't care. I'm not up on it, right? It's kind of written for a different demographic, and I'm totally cool with it. I actually think it's really cool mythology. I don't have an actual issue with it. But these are the 4 that I'm dealing with here. Again, like, I'm X, right? You know where we come from with this, right? So this is also a walk through the historical mind of a X-Men, right? Like Generation X, right? X-Men is what I call this, right? So when I'm fundamentally talking about magic, right? I'm showing you my influences, right? Like, these are primarily for Western America, right? I would say these are the primary inferences here, right? These comparisons is that we were dealing with King Arthur's, magic, right? That's kind of where we grew up with, and that got manifested in a lot of ways. So I can really talk to you guys about the various ways, like King Arthur, like, in my estimation, man, King Arthur's dropped off. We used to be filled with King Arthur mythology all the time, right? Like, I don't think we've got any good King Arthur mythology, man, in like 20 years, man. I'm just being really honest. I don't know why y'all let that drop off, but King Arthur has significantly dropped off. We don't even mess with King Arthur anymore. Not like that. We don't mess with Morgan Le Fay, right? We're not messing with Merlin like that anymore. I don't know why it dropped off, but this is how I see this going down, right? So this is kind of where I'm looking at magic in this sense, and we're dealing with these 4. We're dealing with, Arthurian magic, right? Arthurian magic, right? King Arthur, right? We get that. Tolkien's magic. Now, obviously, this is a major intersection because of like how long Tolkien's history is. Like, not only my generation was, influenced by Tolkien, but obviously my parents and probably my grandparents as well, right, would have been influenced by Tolkien, their generation. So, and then of course, they're still making movies like the movies the modern movies carry so much weight, like, because they got a resurgence. Guys, remember, the books have always been like huge in terms of books. They've always been at the top of like bookdom, right? And then you got to remember they had the whole animated series. I want to say this is like when Bass Rankin was still, you know, kind of dominant. They do a whole animated Lord of the Rings that's really good. Like, it's very different, but it totally reflects the time, like everything about the time, right? So they get a resurgence with that, and then Peter Jackson brings it back, and bam, that's a whole resurgence. It doesn't seem like the shows are really extending it out, but look, this is what, you know what, you're right. Don't be a cunt, man. That's the most amazing message that you can put out there, right? Okay. You can see I got on, like, don't be a cunt. I got on my boys. I'm repping it right now. I got my butcher on right now. I would have worn the shirt, but I didn't think that was appropriate. Okay. But back to this. So clearly Tolkien's influences is wide. So he's influenced a lot of people in what they think about magic, right? So this is very much there, right? Now, the next one that we're going to talk about, you know, and we'll talk about like each of these magic systems in detail, but you can kind of see like you know, we'll go through them, right? Where Arthur's magic, like, it's very much like miraculous, you know, it's always intended to be the will of God. It's always wielded by exceptional people. And we're going to talk about these words. Whereas Tolkien's magic, it seems like to me, it's never really explained, but it's always this ancient power. It's always rooted in like the spiritual authority. It's usually aligned with either light or with shadow, right? And wizards are servants of it, like not masters of it. There's good and there's evil, and you know, it can go either way. And we can kind of see, and we'll talk about these people. Because with King Arthur's magic, obviously we're talking about Merlin, Morgan Le Fay, we're talking the Holy Grail, right? We're talking Excalibur. Man, there's a lot of weaponry within that I probably should break down for you guys so that the mythology does not get lost, right? But then, of course, we go to Tolkien, and we know the stories like it's Gandalf, right? Gandalf the Wizard. It's Sauron. It's what's her name? Guinevere, whatever her name is, the White Wizard, right? The White Witch. She was on that, right? But then another, like, really kind of major magic component was the Conan. Like, Conan from my generation was really, really big. Not just the Conan. We had the Conan movies because we had Conan animated stuff. We had Conan cartoons and comic books. Like, Conan was popping, man. Like, Conan has always been real life for my culture, right? For my generation, right? We've always been down with Conan. And this is like that ancient magic, man. This is that primordial, very brutal magic. A lot of times it's dark gods, it's corrupt, right? It's enhanced, it takes you over, right? It's all this stuff, man. It's feared by the common man. That's Conan's magic right there. Conan don't typically like to be messing with magic himself. That's Conan's kryptonite right there is magic. But he's got his homie Akira with him. As long as he's got magic that he can trust on his side, he's good, right? So this is where we coming at. You know, this we get Thulsa Doom, you get Yog-Sothoth, right? You get the demons. And Thulsa Doom was a beast, man. He ain't dead, by the way. Y'all really need to get off of Thulsa Doom's neck. He is not dead. And then that brings us at last to Westerosi magic, all right? And Westerosi magic, to me, is not as good as some of these other magic. Like, Westerosi magic is sacrificial. Like, it's always sacrifice. I don't think I've seen any Westerosi magic that wasn't weighted in some type of sacrifice, right? Yeah, I'll check on this, right? I'll go deeper into this, but I'm pretty sure that Westerosi magic requires some kind of sacrifice. We saw the Red Queen burning that little girl up, right? It seems like it always requires something, man. I think she's the greatest issuer of magic there, right? And she always required something, right? So that was it. You have to get something in Westeros to get that magic to go down, right? Their magic is a lot of times tied to blood, right? It's tied to blood, it's tied to sacrifice, it's tied to prophecies, and the prophecies are themselves unreliable, man. Like, their prophecy, like, you guys just throw out prophecies. Like, the thing about, like, okay, this is why people don't believe in prophecies, man. Because you guys throw out so many prophecies that we're just like really, like, that prophecy didn't work out, and this prophecy didn't work out, and but I gotta believe this one right here, right? That's what it is. That's Westerosi magic. because they be putting out a lot of prophecies, man, but their prophecy percentage rates is mad low. And the thing about it is, like, somehow, like, I guess it's all the war, the link to all the knowledge and stuff is always broken, right? It comes in chunks. Some people got it, some people don't, right? You see how it's gained, like, it's gained through this knowledge. So, like, Westerosi magic, man, it's very different. And the representatives for Westerosi magic, I'm going to talk about the Red Witch, Melisandre, who was one of my favorite characters, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys about Melisandre. I actually dug Melisandre, right? Like, stay on the youthful side, right? I was with that part, but I really didn't have a problem with Melisandre. So she's one of the more powerful ones. And the Blood Raven, right? So the Blood Raven is the one who is like, yeah, come over here, Bran, take over, right? And then, of course, Bran, who becomes exceptionally powerful. He becomes, I think, the most powerful in Westerosi magic, right? Because in Westeros, like, if you're watching House of Dragons right now, I don't think we've seen anything magical happen yet, right? Like, what are we, like, 2 episodes deep right now? We're 2 episodes deep on House of Dragons, and have I seen anything magic? I don't think I've seen one magical thing. I mean, outside of the fact that there are dragons, right? Like, I get that. There are dragons, okay? That unto itself is magical. So you're 100% right on that. That unto itself is magical. But you know, I want to see somebody doing some magic, man. Like, I don't know. That's just me. So we're seeing, okay. And again, because we're heavy on dragons, let me say this directly to the House of Dragons, right? The House of Dragons show, right? I'm saying this directly to you, man. Like, thank you right now, man. Like, you guys understood the assignment, man. You guys got right into it. I'm telling you, man. You guys weren't trying to like, oh man, let's space these battles out. Like, let's choose short clip. You guys have gone deep onto some very extensive battles. I can understand now why this takes years to get this accomplished, right? Like, what you're essentially doing is creating incredibly long movies. I can see that's the approach that you're taking. Otherwise, you wouldn't be showing these very long, very complicated, very drawn out, and very demanding battle scenes, and they're great. I love it. Like, I mean, come on, man. We getting dragons getting clipped, and you guys are very heavy on dragons. Like, that is absolutely appreciated. You guys are very heavy on dragons, right? So I'm bowing down to all that, but I'm simply saying that, yeah, I thought there was magic here too, and we don't get an overabundance of magic. Okay, maybe I'm asking too much. If someone were to say, "Look, you're asking too much," I'd be like, "All right, well, it is what it is," okay? So that's kind of what we see. So I want to talk a little bit about Westerosi magic, like, you know, because since the White Witch, you know what? Okay. I guess I've been tripping because I've been ignoring everything going on in Harrenhal. We've been away from Harrenhal for so long that I forgot about what was going on at Harrenhal, and I misspoke, right? I misspoke. Because there's actually the witch over at Harrenhal, and if you're watching the series right now, she's about to be mad relevant, right? Like, man, this is one of those very subtle things. This is one of those very subtle things in the show where Daemon slipped up, man. Like, you always doing shit like this, Daemon, and like, you needed to. I know we're not giving her Harrenhal. I think you needed to look. Let's talk about this after this mission's done. Like, you needed to have let her know you was taking her seriously. And that's just reading the room, man, right? So this is Daemon not reading the room at all, right? So that's kind of where it is. So, but other than that, so there is magic there. I need to get off of it. Like, I'm really on that. So I'm gonna compare it to a lot of other magics, or like the 4 magics, the magic principles that we see. And I think there's a lot of meat on the series when we look at both, like, how it's used, where it's coming from, and who's making the most effective use out of that. So I think these 4 worlds right here are one good lane to look at, but that in no way, because that really does leave a lot of, like, fairy magic out of there, man. Like, is there one? Yeah, there's elves there, so I guess that's inclusive. This seems like it's leaving a lot out there. I have to admit that, but these are like the 4 staples that we're going to start off with. You can't. All right. Okay, guys, I wanted to come back because I wanted to talk a little bit about my other section, right? You guys know what this is. I'm very fond of doing my new solo section here, right? So we're going to get into a little bit of, would you let them in your house, right? Like, this is the topic, and these aren't the characters. I'm going to get some solo characters here. It's a much better character for this. Not that those aren't great characters. Okay. So since we've been talking about, like, Invincible had a lot of really good characters, man. Invincible really did, as a show, had a lot of good characters, and like a lot of the characters we ignore, just because there's only so much time, man. You can't, we can't tell Mark's story and Oliver's story and all the characters that we actually watch the show about, and give as much time to a lot of the sideline characters. So I want to look at some of these characters, just kind of take a lens to them, right? And kind of give my thoughts on each. I think it's kind of a cool way just to look at characters. So if you guys understand, thanks. So the first character we're going to look at here is it's from Invincible, and we're looking at the character Aquarius, right? Aquarius is up based on our 7 roles, evaluating appearance. You know what? Actually, I think I did this character. Yeah, we did do this character. Let's move on a little bit. Yeah, this is where I wanted to get. Okay, we did. Oh, yeah. This is the character that I've been meaning to do. Okay, so the character that we mean to do is Dritz Do or Dead, right? Dritz Do or Dead. If you know this guy, he's from the Forgotten Realms series, right? Do you let Dritz in your house, right? Like, and this is a good one. I think this is a great kind of character for exactly this kind of, this kind of scenario here, right? Like, so let's run it back, right? I think my internet might be slipping out a little bit here. We got a storm coming, so it is what it is, right? So let's take this character right here. For all you for all you guys who are like heavily into Forgotten Realms, this is one of the best characters to come out of Forgotten Realms entirely, right? Like, honestly. Yeah, I gotta fix this. I noticed my title was incorrect. I'm gonna fix this really quick. Come on. I just gotta fix it. I just gotta go in here. I'm just going into YouTube and kind of correcting the title here. Where are you at? Okay, so yeah, so we're talking about Dritz. Okay, so right now, we're about to talk about Dritz Do or Dead from the Forgotten Realm series. Do I let Dritz in the house? Right, I think this is a good one here, right? I think it's a good one. He's a compelling character, right? Do I let Dritz in? Okay, so right off the bat, if you're familiar with this character or not familiar with this character, like Dritz. Okay, let's for people who aren't familiar with this character, give me a little backstory on this character, right? Tell me like a little bit about like when this character was created, like what do we know about this character, just for people who don't know this character, because this is a great fantasy character. I gotta say, it's one of my favorite characters. This is a Forgotten Realms was a series, man. I ended up like kind of getting down. Even me and my uncle were reading this series together. He's reading this while he's in jail, right? So it's a great series. Like, he would tell you, man, this is one of his favorite characters, even though I don't know why, because he didn't break any laws, right? I don't know how my uncle found this guy to be like the relatable character, but anyway, he was like, so Dritz Do or Dead. This is R.A. Salvatore. So this is a big guy in sci-fi writing. I feel like this series has quietly gone underneath the radar, and I don't know why. I think this character could be extremely a mainstream character, but it hasn't blown up, right? So this is a guy who comes from the novel Crystal Shard. So going back to like 1988, right? This is when this thing came out. It's like my junior year of high school when this comes out, right? And he originally planned for another character to be the hero, and I remember it started off, but Dritz was a supporting character. Like, the main character was a character named Wolfgar, who was the main character. Dritz, this dark elf character here, was a supporting character. I do remember that story. And he needed a sidekick for the story. So, it's classic for fantasy at that time. There was also an elf that they rolled with. And they had some other, so they had kind of a traditional crew, like imagine like your Conan type of story. That's Wolfgar, and you have like he's friends with this dark elf who does magic, and this dwarf, and he has a panther, so it became the four of them a lot, right? And what he is a drow. So drow is kind of some new terminology, and it's specific. This is specific to this world, to this whole like fantasy world that he creates. Like, it's very, very specific. Nobody else has. I don't think anyone else ever uses that character reference at all. A drow, right? And that's what he is. And there's a whole civilization that goes along with the drow. So it's deep, man. They get really, really deep in here, right? And so drow essentially is a dark elf. Essentially, like, there's a light elves, and so they make that distinction. And this is a dark elf. So he's kind of like this purple skinned elf. They live in these underground cities and beneath the surface world. Now, mostly in this society, it gets a little controversial because they're the dark skinned ones and they live underground. I don't think you guys are seeing how biology works, but whatever. But his society is also defined by the fact that it's totally corrupt. Like, the dark elf culture is completely corrupt. It's beautiful, like the way they describe, the cities, like the drow women. They're beautiful. It's insanely gorgeous, but they are so evil, right? And so drow, this character plays kind of the role. He leaves, as I call him, kind of a sellout. He comes up to the surface world and makes a new life. But because you're dark skinned, you facing a lot of BS up on the surface, on the light world, right? So we know this, right? Even though it's kind of backwards, it's kind of like, the sun world is a world where all the darker beings are. So anyway, that's the story. That's the core of his story. But he's a brilliant fighter. Like, the character set was so much cooler than Wolfgar that he essentially took over. Like, that's what it is. So this character became very popular as a fantasy archetype, like the noble outsider, right? Like, this is kind of he would influence characters like Geralt of Rivia, right? Hellboy, the Mandalorian. Like, he's kind of anti-hero. Like, he's not what you would look at as the hero, but he ultimately is always the best and the most moral character around. That's what Dritz is. So high like likability, high nobility, right? He's all that stuff. And he's got a couple of signature weapons, like his sword. He has two swords, Twinkle and Icing Death. Like, that's the name of his weapons. So anytime you start getting to personalized weapons like that, man, people love that stuff, right? I remember, like, I was all consumed in this character. It was a badass character. And then he has a panther, so he rolls with a black panther, like a magical black panther that he can summon through this, like, enchanted figurine. So he gets magic, you get fighting, you get coolness, you get exile, you get righteousness, right? The stranger, he's all that stuff. So he's like, you can compare him a lot of mythological points. And you know what? Now I've kind of convinced myself that he does need his own, like, complete breakdown. So I will at some point put him on the list and do. But like I said, the reason I don't really talk about him that much is because nobody really talks about this character. Like, there's a wait, my mic is out. Let's see. Man. Man, let me see something here, man. All right, let me listen to this. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I just want to do a quick mic check. Okay, mic check. I'm just kind of checking out to see what my TikTok feed is doing right now. It's been acting a little nutty, man. Oh, hang on. Let me see if I'm going to get it here. Hang on. Oh, I think I know. Let me see. I think I know. Hang on. Okay. That should resolve that issue. Yo, I'm sorry, TikTok, man. I wasn't paying attention. You guys gave me a warning, and I had an extra setting in there, and I wasn't listening to it. And I greatly apologize because I was giving you guys a dose of really good stuff. So I do apologize for that. And I won't let my sound on TikTok be screwed up like that again. I promise you guys that, okay? I value you guys as an audience. Okay. Anyway, I got it back, and I wanted to, oh, is that why that's over there? Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. I kind of screwed up some of my settings. I didn't realize that had got messed up before. Okay, so I'm gonna drop out here, but I had to go back, and I should have checked my sound on TikTok sooner. But man, I had a bunch of stuff going. So anyway, okay. So this character Dritz, who I'm gonna get back into, like this was a really, really good character coming from a fantasy environment, right? Like people really got into this character. I got into this character. Like I said, I did this character for a few years, and like I said, I was reading these books with my uncle, man. Me and my uncle were down during his lockdown time, man. Help get him through here. It's a righteous character for him to lock into. So would I let this guy in my house? That's what it all comes down to. Like, would I let you in the house? Like, okay, so he shows up at the door, and you see this guy, and like right off the bat, you're probably gonna like him, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like Dritz right in. Like, I don't know who he is. If you don't know, but you see him, he's like dark elf, white hair, lavender, like maybe armored up. Kind of depends on your world, but he's basically a nice guy. Like, so when you see him like rolling up like this, yeah, you're not gonna let him in. You're not gonna let him in. That's actually gonna be his biggest problem here. Is that how you look when you roll up typically tells me a lot about you. Like, that's how we do it. Like, unfortunately, that first impression does matter. Like, he's totally loked out. Like, man, you got lavender skin or lavender eyes, dark skin like this, white hair. You look kooky. I've never seen anything quite like you before, you know, Dritz. Yeah, and I hope you don't have the Panther out. Like, this is assuming that you don't even have the Panther with you, right? But if you got your two twin swords that you carry with you most of the time, right? Like, it's a fearsome. Like, it is. Like, in your world, maybe it's not. But in my world, which is where the door is, right? The door is in my world. Yeah, I'm not going to let you in here, right? Like, or you're starting off low. Now we start getting to what this guy's powers are. Let's really talk about it, man. He's pretty scary as a warrior. As a fighter, as a one man, he's extremely dangerous. This is a masterful swordsman. This is superhuman, like, skill, physical abilities, all that stuff. This is elite ranger abilities. This is expert tracking skills, magical equipment, combat expertise against monsters, demons, dragons, giants, and assassins, right? He has backup, a magical panther to which he rows with. He's got a squad of homies, right? He's got Brenner, Wolfgar. So he's got a complete skill set. Like, this is a very dangerous guy. If he wanted to make you his enemy, which he probably doesn't, this is a very, very skilled guy. He can make this really problematic for you, right? Now, the whole thing about it is, like, when we start talking about his character, this is where things make a massive uptick for this character. His character itself is high. This is a high character individual, right? This is a guy that you could absolutely put your faith in, right? There's no doubt about it. Like once you meet him, he's very compassionate, he's very loyal, right? He's very protective by nature. He's naturally self-sacrificing. He's naturally humble, and he's naturally honest, right? So he's got, he's got everything, right? We get it all from this guy. His entire story, revolves around rejecting cruelty. That's the whole thing. He's like, I am not going to be that guy. Instead, he chooses principles and morals and nobility by choice. He walked away from a culture that told him, like, yeah, dude, just fucking slide through here, dude. Come on. And he rejected all that. He rejected cruelty. So I know from his moral compass, this is a guy who is an entire core. He's an entire moral core at the highest level. So once I established like his character, I'm like, you know what? I do let this guy in. You're a little strange looking, you're a little nightcrawlery, but we can get past that stuff, right? I'm open-minded. So once we get him there, he's at my door, and you're like, okay, why are you here? It's never for any, selfish reasons or domination. He's not here for conflict. That's not why he stopped at my house. Like his motives are always going to be to help someone, or maybe he's seeking some shelter, maybe he's tracking, maybe he has some questions for me. Whatever it is, he's probably doing it to protect some individual or some cause that I probably would agree with for most cases, right? Now, the best case scenario here is that I gain a friend, right? Me and Dritz are now friends, or homies, and I love that, man. I always like reading this guy's books. I like how he rolls. He's got a Black Panther with him. I got a couple of Black Panther t-shirts here. So I feel well suited that we would be really, really good friends here, right? Like, this is it. He's a nice guy. He's probably going to be protective of me too. I'll probably get to meet the other homies in Wolfgar and all that stuff. And we'll all be cool with each other. Like, I could definitely see all benefit from this. This is a huge upside for me. From my side of this is all upside, right? That's kind of how I see it. It's all upside for me. The worst case scenario is not really him. The problem isn't him. It's potentially the people from his old community who are still looking for him, right? That's the danger that he represents. Is like, yeah, you leave and some of your old enemies roll up on me, right? Now they're putting pressure on me because of some stuff that you did, right? So that's kind of like the only real downside for this character, right? Like, otherwise, he's too cool of a character, man. I like this dude. Like, that's what it is. His ancient enemies might roll up, but I feel like he's got my back, man. I feel like as long as I've got his number, I'm going to be all right. The final verdict on him is like, if I weigh all of it out, yeah, let him in, man. Yes, he comes in, man. Yes, this dude comes in. This is exactly, out of all the elves that I've read about, this is probably one of the most righteous elves out there, right? This is one of the elves that you can really trust. Even above Legolas. I take this guy above Legolas any day of the week. Not because he's weak, not because he's harmless, but because he's trustworthy. Like, that's it. He's trustworthy. Those keywords matter. He is worthy of trust. That's who this guy is. He is worthy of my trust. So yeah, he's one of the safest passes that I can give. If this guy shows up at your door, like, don't hesitate to let him in. I'm telling you, this is a decision that you will probably more than likely, this is going to be a decision years later. You're like, man, I'm glad I let you in that day. I don't think he drinks anything, and I doubt I can even get him to smoke weed. But overall, like, I think he'd be an enjoyable friend to have. We'll just sit around, do some honest, like, some clean stuff. I don't know if I really want to meet your Panther. Like, I do want to meet your Panther, but at the same time, like, that's probably not a good idea. We shouldn't tempt fate, right? With like walking with the Panther. The LL Cool J did it, man, and I would love to walk with the Panther myself. But it is what it is. So that's my 401 on Dritz. If he shows up at the door, yeah, you can let this guy in. He's getting my approval pass. All right. Duplicate. Okay. So now we're going back, man. I was hitting some Invincible characters the other day. And now I'm talking about Duplicate. Do I want to first of all, tell me a little bit about Duplicate, when she first came out. When did Duplicate first came out? What's the backstory on Duplicate a little bit? Duplicate obviously is a character from Invincible. There's Duplicate and there's Multiple, which is hilarious, right? Like, whoever writing this stuff, man, you deserve a raise down there, right? So Duplicate is again this Robert Kirkman guy, and she was very early on the Invincible series episode or number 2. She debuted early in the series as a part of the teen team alongside Robot, Rexplode, the homie, and Adam Eve, right? And her name is Kate Chow, right? Kate Chow. And her powers is that she can self-duplicate multiple copies of herself. They think independently, they fight independently, they share information, but they can operate simultaneously in different locations, right? She can overwhelm opponents through sheer numbers. And one of the interesting aspects of her powers is that the duplicates aren't mindless clones. They function as extension of the same consciousness. So this is pretty deep, allowing her to gather information and experience from multiple places at once. Now, unlike like a lot of the Invincible characters, she doesn't have a tragic origin story, right? She was introduced as an established young hero already working with the teen team, and over time she's developed some of the messiest relationships on the entire series. She gets with everybody. She dates Rexplode. Rex cheats on Adam Eve with multiple versions of Kate. Later, Kate and Rex break up. Then she gets into a relationship with Immortal, and I think she's pregnant, right, at this time. So, like, that's an interesting thing. And her brother is Multiple, who is another just hilarious. Like, it's a great character, right? So she's known for, like, she can whoop your ass. Like, you think you're going up against this one, little girl, and then all of a sudden there's like 7 of them, and they're all kicking the shit out of you, right? So this is how she gets down. Multiple is her brother, same power, same background, and she seems like she's kind of comic relief, but she dies when they lose fights, man. There's all kind of dead Kate's laying around there. It gets to be pretty gruesome. Okay, so now let's evaluate Kate. Would I let Kate inside the house? Let's run the wheel on Kate here. Like, what do we have to say about Kate? Okay, so with Kate, first impressions, like, yeah, you already know Kate's very friendly. She seems to be very nice. She's obviously very attractive, very social. She's like an experienced hero. She's very fit, keeps her hair nicely done. Always liked her hair, right? And she doesn't look all wild, right? She doesn't have glowing eyes. She doesn't have a giant hammer hanging over her back, right? She doesn't have a Viltrumite mustache. There's no visible signs that she would destroy an entire city block. So out of everyone on the show, I probably trust Kate off of just to rip right off the bat. Like, she's probably the most trustworthy character to come up in the crib, right? I could take that with her easily, right? Now, her powers is that she can duplicate herself. She can multiply herself. 2, 3s, like dozens, right? She can do everything. So, look, like I said, man, I would have no, if you're immortal, this is the smartest thing you could ever done for yourself is getting with Kate. Smartest thing you could ever do for yourself. She's protection, help around the house, instant moving crew, all self-contained. We should start a business with this, right? 20 people using one, there's different stages. I don't know how she gets rid of her multiple selves if they have to die, because then you have a lot of a bunch of people using the bathroom. So it can't work like that. She has to be able to pull them back into herself, right? Otherwise, this whole thing doesn't work. It gets to be real nonsensical after that, right? So I'm going to trust that her powers to regulate herself is already built in. And if you make a bunch of extra Kates, and I don't mind a bunch of extra Kates around. I love you that much, Kate, where we don't mind. So, and this is where she scores very high. Let's talk about her character. We like to go on character, right? Talk about her appearance and her powers. Character, she's it, man. She's courageous. She's very loyal. She's all about teamwork. She's heroism. She's not a perfect person, right? We've seen her make some mistakes. She's been involved with some messy, like, personal relationships. Her and her brother kind of have some beef. I think he's in jail right now, in fact. Right. So, but she's fundamentally a hero, like, through and through, right? Like, I absolutely get her. Yeah, if she shows up at the crib, like, what am I looking at in terms of, like, her motivation, right? She's probably looking for some help. She's probably looking for some shelter. Maybe it's a social call. Maybe it's hero business and she's doing some investigation, right? All that stuff could be happening with her. But what I do know is she's not a conqueror, right? She's not a psychopath, right? She's not here to, like, plan destruction of the world. Like, that's not who she is in any way, right? So she has good intentions all the way around, okay? So the best case scenario is I gain a superhero or ally that if things don't go well with Immortal, like, hey, I'm going after it, man, all right? If I need someone like to run some errands, hey, Kate, I'm feeling sick, man. Can you go and get me something to eat and stop and get my laundry and, like, run someplace else? She'll just make a bunch of Kates and then I'll do it. And then I have a bunch of Kates taking care of me. Just sending extra Kates over there. If you created an extra Kate and you guys are like, man, it's full of Kates over here, send one over here for me. Game night, you can have an extra few friends. Like, we get it on. So the worst case scenario with Kate isn't Kate. It's a danger that, inherently revolves around having superhero friends, right? Like that's inherently what we get from Kate. Viltrumite monsters. My house might become a battlefield at some point, which I don't want. So there is some downside, obviously that. But overall, like if I take a look at Kate, absolutely I let Kate in, man. Absolutely, I have no problem letting Kate into the domicile, man. She rates highly up there on characters that I would want in. In fact, not only would I let Kate in, I'm probably inviting her. If I see her, I'm like, hey, if you're not busy, you want to hang out for a little bit, like, Immortal isn't around, right? Because that guy seems like he gets insanely jealous, right? So as long as he's not around, like, okay, I'm down with Kate. This is how I roll. I have no issues with Kate. I actually like this character, so I can see this happening. I can definitely see this happening, right? So let's see who's next. Who we got next? I hope it's another Invincible character. Let's take a look at it here, okay? Oh yeah, oh man, this is awkward now. Right? Immortal comes around, right? All right, let's move this off his face because he's already getting pissed. I was just talking about his girl. Okay, so the next one up is Immortal, right? From Invincible, right? Give me a little backstory. When does this character come out? All that stuff, and then we'll get into the breakdown of it. So let's talk a little bit about Immortal, like who Immortal is. All right, Immortal. So this is another bedrock character in the series. He's one of the oldest superheroes in Invincible's universe, literally and figuratively, right? He's like the combination of like Superman, Abraham Lincoln, King Arthur, 3,000-year-old warrior, all in one. It's a single character. He's got all that going on. He was originally created again by Robert Kirkman, who created all the characters here, and Corey Walker, who's the artist, and he first appeared in Invincible #7 back in 2003 as a member of the original Guardians of the Globe. So he first appears in the Justice League style elder statesman hero. That's the role that he plays. He's been around forever. Kind of looks like Randall Savage a little bit to me, but and then Omni-Man murders the entire team. So this is kind of the timeline here. And this is where the readers discover that his name is not just a gimmick, right? Why does he call himself Immortal? Because he can't die. He can't stay dead, right? So that's a great power to have. You lose that fight, you get beat down, but you come back, right? And he also has, among his other powers, right? This is why he lived for so long, is that you have super strength, you have flight, you have extreme durability, insane regeneration abilities, and functional immortality. You can kill him, but you usually can't keep him dead, right? That's the difference. Obviously we saw that you can be killed, but you tend to just come back to life, right? So that's where you go. You can try and kill him. You can think that. So historically, he's lived many lives. He's been a Celtic warrior. He was a knight of the Arthurian legacy, right? Sure, that's how I said. He discovered during the Age of Discovery. He was a soldier in like all kinds of wars, and he was Abraham Lincoln himself. He was literally Abraham Lincoln. So that's his history. Like his role in Invincible is that before Omni-Man betrayed, he was just playing his role as one of Earth's premier heroes and the leader of the original team, right? So he's one of the few heroes powerful enough to actually challenge Omni-Man physically. Not win, but at least stand out. And that's a very important distinction. So when he massacres the Guardians, Immortal is the one who lands some of those powerful blows against him. Him and like war woman, right? She gets in. Even though he kills, he comes back and immediately tries to finish the fight. Like he's undaunted by the fact that he gets beat down. A savage beating, man. A savage beating. So he ignores all that. He gets right into it, right? So, this is a guy, he's carrying a lot of weight because he's watched all of his friends die, that family die. He's been through it all. He's repeatedly got that cycle. He's old ass dude. But you see who he hooked up with. He definitely hollered at Kate and he's like, what's up, girl? Like, let's stop this nonsense. You're looking for a stable dude. He's no more stable than me. I'm 3,000 years old, right? Like, come on, I still look young. He ran the line that we run when you're chasing one of them young ones. That's what he ran, and it worked out, right? I got to give you your props on that. You got the youngest, little cutest thing on the show, right? So this is why the character works, because like we can imagine, we've kind of played with this idea, like Randall Savage, Wolverine, these guys that keep coming back, like they never die. Like there's a lot of mythical stuff in him. We kind of get stories of like the Wandering Juice character, right? Tithonus of Greek mythology, Vandal Savage. So we get all this stuff, the Fisher King archetype. We get all that kind of absorbed in this character. That's why he works. So let's get to it. Let's run the wheel. So if this character shows up on my doorstep, right, Do I let this character in, right? Well, the first thing is like I'm looking at his impression, and yeah, he's tall, confident looking guy. He's flying around. Like, you can do all the time. So you look like a hero. Like, I would trust you. You look very trustworthy. Like, that's what it is. And then I asked myself, what about his power set? How powerful is this guy? And it's staggeringly so, right? It's power. He can fly. He's got superhuman strength. He's got superhuman speed, near invulnerability, regeneration abilities, immortality. Like, come on, man. He's dripping with it. Centuries of warfare. Like, if he wanted my house, he could just take it. There's nothing he could do about it, right? He's incredibly powerful. No, this is where he's like going to be redeemed. Like, it's his character, right? His character is he protects humanity. He risks his life. He leads superhero teams. He's a very responsible person. But he's tired. Like, I mean, he's kind of worn out. I think getting Cade's going to add some life into him. He's got life scars from thousands of years. So he can be bitter, angry, be frustrated, impulsive. He's not evil, though. He's just carrying, like, you need some therapy, man. This is where I'm not joking. Like, mental health is no joke. This is where you have thousands of years of trauma. You need to get thousands of years, at least hundreds of years of therapy up in that bad boy. Like, that's something that you're going to need to get, right? Because you've seen some real savage stuff. But now you got a new life going. You have a child on the way. So I hope your outlook's going to get better. Now, he shows up at the crib. What's the best case scenario? Well, I'm going to sit here and have a great conversation about medieval kingdoms, ancient civilizations. Like, what was Gilgamesh really like? Was he as much of a dick as everybody says? Modern history. Like, I'm sure the guy's noodle was just baked with all types of information. What was Abraham Lincoln really like? Like, come on, man. You knew that slavery shit was wrong. What's wrong with you, right? So you're not going to meet a more interesting person if Immortal shows up at your his, right? This is what it is. The worst case scenario is that he brings a catastrophe right along with him. Like, the Omni-Man is still looking for him and he happens to spot him coming to my house, and they just get it on right there. So this is a guy, like, there's a little bit of downside, but it's a little bit of an overreach right there. I'm not really worried about that. So final verdict, like, yeah, if Immortal shows up at my house, yeah, I'm letting him in, man. I don't have a problem with it, man. I'm just being really honest with you. I'm going to let this guy in. I think you should too. I think overall, like, he's the kind of guy that you want to mess with, man. He's a decent dude. He's got high morals. He's got great power. So yeah, it's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. So let's see. Do I want to get into another one? Let's see. Let's do another one here. Let's see who we have up next. Because I got some good ones. Oh man, my man Spawn. Let's okay, we're gonna talk about Spawn here. Give me like the background information on stats on Spawn, like the when he came out, where, all that stuff. Man, Spawn's a great character, and man, you know what? Spawn's a tough one, man. This is one of the deepest characters in the last 40 years, right? He's a very important comic book character in the Marvel area, in the modern era, not because of the character itself, because he changed the comic book industry. Like, this was sparked off by Todd McFarlane. This comes out in Spawn #1, 1992, and this matters a lot because this is at the time, you know, McFarlane was one of Marvel's brightest stars. He became famous for drawing Spider-Man and took that, you know, redefined Venom based on this, and that's kind of where Spawn comes from. So we can see, like, Venom to Spawn, it was already in his noodle, man. Like, it was already there, and this became Image Comics' like flagship character, right? The first issue sold over 1 million copies of this bad boy. Like, Spawn is iconic in ways that, like, a lot of comic books are not iconic, right? This guy really get down. So Al Simmons, right? Let's talk about Al Simmons, right? Not Russell Simmons, right? Not Ron Simmons. This is the other cousin. This is Al Simmons, who is an elite government assassin and Black Ops operative. He's one of the deadliest men on Earth. Then he was betrayed, murdered by his own associates, and sent to hell. Sent to hell for some shit you did. Let's point that out. You were an assassin and a black, like, you were doing this stuff. You were in bed with these criminals, right? I mean, these dirty people you did. So then you go to hell. Now you got to deal with it. And because you're down there, you got to deal with Malbosia, right? The ruler of one of Hell's domains. And you agree to become the Hellspawn in exchange for seeing Wanda again. I can't fault you, but it's a tragic bond. It's a classic tragic bargain that you make with the demon in the underworld that you're not going to win, right? So stop making these bargains. Just deal with your consequences sometimes, right? But he doesn't give up with that. He wants to see her again, and I can't blame it, man. Wanda was Wanda, man. Wanda was very Wanda-rific. She's aptly named Wanda. She was wonderful, right? Absolutely. But you got a problem, man. Hell don't give you no refunds, man. Hell don't even give you what they told you that they were gonna give you, right? So after a while, like you return to Earth, your wife has moved on, you're all scarred up, she's like dating your boy, having kids and all, new dogs, like it's tough, man. You the Hellspawn, you burnt up, right? You know she don't want you, she's all fine and soft skinned. She wants your burnt up skin rubbing all over her smooth cocoa butter skin. It's never gonna happen, right? So this is what it is. Like now, she became like this righteous human, and here you are with necroplasm energy and a cape and chains and armor. She doesn't want any of that, and it's all your fault. Like I get it, man. Like now your power set, you're just gonna have to deal with. Your power set's insane. Like this is where Spawn like changed the game itself. Super strength, teleportation, regeneration, shapeshifting, necroplasmic energy projection, right? Summoning chains, like a living cape and living armor. Resurrection. This is all before you get any cosmic level upgrades, which you do get later, right? He's battled angels, demons, armies of hell, armies of heaven. He's battled Satan. He's battled God level beings, and his power scales just keep going up, man. Now, like you can't, like it's too late now. Whatever you thought you could do to handle Spawn is completely done now. Spawn's on a whole nother level. Spawn with Hollywood, his power set is just insane, right? So Spawn's different than everyone else, right? Spawn in the 90s was a little bit different. He's got mixed. He was violent, angry, he's morally conflicted, and that kind of mixed it in with like the horror part of it. Like it's bad, man. It's urban mythology, it's religion, all this stuff is inked into this core about Spawn. So Spawn reveals a lot of what we think about like hell, the stories about redemption, or is it even possible? Or is it righteous punishment? Like, are you being punished for the shit that you did? Like, I kind of think like you were betrayed, you were murdered, you were manipulated, but you have murdered a bunch of people. You're an assassin. You don't get to do both, man. I always liked the character. I liked Al, but I'm like, yeah, dude, like Hemi, you did do that stuff, man. Maybe your punishment was what it was supposed to be, right? Maybe that's what your punishment should have been the entire time, right? Like you had it coming, and you just can't see it like that. And they never can see it. When they do something wrong, they can never see it. You're a damn soul, and just damn it, get over it, right? So that's who he is. Okay, so let's run the wheel. Spawn shows up at the house. Spawn shows up at my house. Do I let Spawn in? Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, without being all materialistic, right? Without being like sounding all crazy, like come on, man. Like I ain't letting him in. Like man, you look jacked up, y'all burnt up. Like it's kind of cool. I can't. You look too much like a demon, man. You're very low. You have a very little chance of getting in the house based on your appearance. Your power. Now this makes everything gets worse because not only do you look like that, you have the powers of somebody who would look exactly like that. You're not just powerful. You're one of those powerful characters that like exist. Like in your connection to hell. Like come on, demonic magic. I don't want any parts of that. Like I do not. The fact that you're a 10 out of 10 on the plus code on power charts does not help you to get into my house. Like you look destructive. I can't imagine like you smell good. Nobody talks about this, but what does Spawn actually smell like? Because I know you don't do bathe, right? I know your skin's all burnt up. You haven't bathed or put any, antiseptic. Maybe you just burned it off with hellfire. But I can't imagine that hellfire smells good either. So that's kind of what we're dealing with Spawn. There's a lot of like, red flags. If you don't identify this is a red flag, I don't know what you would ever see as a red flag. So yeah, this is a person we got to deal with. Now, character wise, definitely a flawed character, angry, traumatized, all this stuff. But yeah, he's nice to children. He's nice to children, vulnerable people, the forgotten. But you killed a lot of innocent people. So character wise, I don't know, Spawn. You seem like it sometimes, but I can't forget your past. I can't forget the stuff that you've done. So character, it's more questionable, right? Now, what's your motive here? This is crucial because he doesn't make social calls. If he shows up, I'm already in danger. I'm only hoping you're here to help me get out of the danger. Like it's crucial to you to save my life. If that's the case and you have good intentions, I can work with you, right? The best case scenario is like he becomes a protector because he does do that for people. He does the people that he likes and he gets to be very protective of those people. So I don't have a problem with that. So that could be the scenario with him. It's a very powerful deterrent against anybody coming at me. The worst case scenario is now a Malblosia is showing up over here and I got duty that I got to do too. Like now I also work down there through proxy and I don't want any part. I don't want the hellish world even knowing about me. So if Spawn shows up at the crib, do I let Spawn in? Do I let Spawn in? Yes, but absolutely reluctantly, right? Like that's how it's going to go down. It's going to go down very, very reluctantly, right? So that's the scenario with Spawn. So that's it. I'm gonna wrap up a bit later. I'm gonna wrap up now. We talked about a lot. I really went through Sentry, the new character. I'm gonna be back later on. I talked about Sentry in detail. There's a lot of good info on Sentry. I did a couple of like, would you allow them in? And I'll be back later to talk about some precious metal, right? I'm going to talk about Valerian steel. So if you're into Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, this will be right up your alley as we talk a little bit about what their favorite metal is, the metal that kind of unites that kingdom over there.